Okay, right. So the first section is to get my characters up to speed. So unfortunately, because we've been using the first version of the core rulebook, there's a few discrepancies between their archetypes then and now. And I also wanted to give my players, these were their first characters as well that they built, and they had a great concept, but some of them forgot to put so many points in. Some of them took talents that didn't really make sense. So we've had a little bit of a discussion over the last couple of weeks about what they want from their characters, and I've sat down and done a few tweaks, and I've developed a kind of like an ascension package for them, but it's not. It's more like we're going to build you up to date, and I've done it in a narrative way. So we're going to do Theatre of Mind for the first 15-20 minutes or so, and this is just so the characters can get up to speed and be properly built to play properly at this sort of level, without just going, just put points in that and put points in that. I thought, let's do it in a way that makes the narrative, makes it a bit of fun, and so I hope you enjoy this. Let me get comfy, because I'm going to be here for a few hours. John.
I am back,
yes.
And I'm just trying to. You know how we've got a different accent for each roleplay game.
Yes.
I think I've still got Fabio's one, but and I'm trying to remember what backstory did I build for this, because it was effectively a one shot, wasn't it?
Yes.
So if I've handed over a backstory to you, I'm sure,
yes.
Or something brief.
Yeah.
And I've got my character sheet. I've got my Twitch stream, so I can see your beautiful face.
Oh, lovely. What do you think of the UI? What do you think of the layout? It's better than the old one.
I like it. I don't know if there's something hidden in there. Like how Icavon's got one eye coloured in, but Hannon's got one eye coloured in. Fabio's got no eyes coloured in. I like your hit bars, like with the health bars.
Really? Watch this. Watch this. This is interesting. So,
this is crazy.
If I need to adjust the hit bars, I'll just turn them off for now. I can adjust them. So there you go. They go off. They go on.
Then wait 30 seconds. Yeah.
Yep. And then I've got the psycho bar at the bottom for Amonel, which can go off and on. So it's all interactive. If you see Icavon's character, his little portrait on the left, there's like a little clock. That's because he's got that speed buff. So when he's got the speed buff, I can turn it off and on.
Oh, I like that. That's good, isn't it?
That's cool, isn't it? And also down on the bottom right of the map screen is the glory counter.
Glory
Turn
counter.
that off and on as well. I haven't taken the time to make everything completely interactive yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch off all the interactive stuff, and then when I upload this onto YouTube, I'm just going to animate it so that it's properly animated on YouTube. But I thought I'd give it a try and see what it looked like on Twitch for now, and it works quite well. I think it's worked out really well.
Yeah.
So I'm going to switch these off for now so it doesn't confuse our players. There we go. So unfortunately they are blank. You're not dead. I just have to switch them off for now. Cool. And Rob says he's going to be on in 10 minutes. So if we start now, I can just do a quick recap with Rob when he comes back on. Okay, let me bring up my Word document because I am so not prepared for this. It's been a year. It has genuinely been an entire year since we last did this.
Has it?
Or was it 2 years?
Wow.
How long ago?
No, it's only been a year. Can't be 2 years.
It was when we first went into lockdown, wasn't it? It was like the first 2 weeks of lockdown or something. So, yeah, I think it is about a year. Okay. I have to skip the owl stuff because he's not here. Okay, so we'll do a quick recap. So we met Anastasia Ross, didn't we? And she took you to space. You went on to the Glorious Bright, which was a ship that was infested with gene stealer cults. This ended up dragging you to another planet, and the planet itself was being hidden by the Ordo Xenos for reasons unknown until you got there. And that was because the planet has a unique atmosphere that turns anything into crystal when it comes in contact with sunlight. And they were like, this is a great way to create a weapon. Unfortunately for them, the Gene Stealer cult also caught wind of this and were trying to figure out what the mechanism was to unlock things from crystal so they could then use it themselves. It turns out that you guys accidentally stumbled upon this this technique, which was to use gene stealer blood, and unfortunately the guy who you went there with betrayed you and dumped you onto Enoch. He ended up working for the gene stealer cult as well. I mean, that's a rubbish recap, but that's the basic gist. So you're here with Anastasia Vross, who is paralysed. Now, she ended up getting paralysed by the gene stealer cult mad scientist called, oh god, can't remember, Dr. Lebovitz, I think he was called. He was like a crazy guy. He poisoned her and tried to poison you guys. He was only successful with her, and the poison was created from the spit of a lictor. And what that did was that poison that paralysed her entire body, so that it keeps her fresh for the lictor to come back and eat it. You've obviously brought her here to get her cured. This is the holy planet of Enoch. I think it's called St Derploratus Sanitarium. This place is called. Huge hospital. Let me zoom right out so you can see the sort of scale that we're talking at here. And the person who dropped you off betrayed you, left you on this planet. You don't have a means to get off this planet currently, and here you are. So let's see if my notes betray me or not, and we'll begin. So the senior head of security steps forward. Welcome to St Derploratus Sanctum. I'm Sergeant Artemis Grosvenor. So I'm just going to zoom in so you guys know exactly where you are on the map. Can you guys see yourselves? You're on the top left on it's sort of like a light grey stone. Looks like a landing pad. If you zoom in there we go. You'll see yourselves there. So the lady in front is Sergeant Artemis Grosvenor. She's the current staff sergeant of this sector. So here we go. I'm Sergeant Artemis Grosvenor, the current staff sergeant of this sector. Though actually we're short-staffed at the moment. Anyway, the servitors here will take care of your friend. So the servitors approach Anastasia and scan her, and they place her on a floating stretcher. Sergeant Grosvenor leans over carefully. Commissar Vross, eh? She looks to be in a sorry state. I met her briefly on Enoch a good few years back. I'm sure Willem Koenig will take excellent care of her, though I'm afraid that he too is currently under a lot of stress. Come, we can chat in the sanitarium proper. Any associate of hers is welcome here. So she leads you into the chapel. Just going to move you all into the chapel. Ta-da! Put you together. There we go. Sergeant Grosvenor leads you from the assigned landing pad past the granaries of a massive distribution centre and onto the sanitarium. The medical facility is enormous, spanning multiple buildings, each containing several large wings. The exterior is a beautiful white marble with bright blue veins running through it, all engraved with imperial iconography and golden insignia. Those of you who are loyal to the Emperor make an obligatory obeisance to the Aquila over the entrance before you cross in. Amonel, seeing as this is an Imperial planet, are you going to take precautionary bows to this and have your hood up or something? Or?
Oh yeah, no, I'm sort of ensuring that sort of my nature is sort of hidden, because even from Fabio and I can't remember the other guy. Icavon, that was it. I haven't really particularly revealed what I am to sort of, as far as saying it.
Right, okie dokie. Yeah, I think they suspect something.
Oh, yeah.
But they haven't.
Well, when I sort of unleashed Smite at the end of the last one, that sort of gave it away.
Yeah, they either think you're some kind of psycho or, I think, well, we'll see if they get onto you. That's something that they can bring up.
Yeah.
Okay. So inside the grand doorway is an enormous room with arched Gothic ceilings. Pardon me, that's my monster. coming back up. Light shines down from the hundreds of candles as well as the coloured sunlight streaming through the intensely detailed stained glass windows. This entrance also doubles as a grand homage to the Emperor, like a large vestibule. To one side, a dedicated chapel lies. A priest named Peter Jordan Yang approaches the sergeant. So that's this is actually Al's character. So I'm just going to move him to the corner. Bye, Al. This is Peter Yang, so he comes over here. Sergeant, I have some bad news. Air traffic has halted again for another 3 days. Apparently, the Ordos Xenos Inquisitor unit have discovered an abandoned ship floating not far from our system. It had signs of a Xenos break-in. And the sergeant sort of tuts. Damn it, not again. Fine. She turns to the troops. Have beds arranged for our guests. Looks like we'll need it. Seems like you were essentially grounded here for 3 days, but yeah, go on.
Yes. I am sort of noticing sort of the conversation and sort of more in curiosity for making sure that I'm not pegged if anyone discovers that I am obviously not of Imperium origin. I don't know, Happen, if you have any idea as to the origin of the these Xenos, as you say, and which ones were responsible.
Yes, of course. Well, the report said that it was Gene Stealer cults. The vessel in question was the Glorious Bride.
Right. Yes, I'm sure you must be aware, being of sort of knowing where we've come from, that we've had dealings with them.
I don't know who you are. You've just arrived here.
Ah, well, clearly you haven't heard of the Carnifax that was brought back into sort of being that wiped out, I've forgotten the name of the planet, but wiped out the planet that we went to. Argonis 5. It completely was almost overrun. The Crystal Planet, I guess, more cheery name for it.
So he's clearly a doddery old fool, this man.
Oh, okay.
He reaches into the back recesses of his mind and attempts to figure out if he realises what this planet is and what the hell you are talking about.
That's fine.
I'm afraid I don't quite know what you're talking about. But I'm
no
sure
worries,
you're
sir.
correct.
No worry.
Emperor praise.
Of course he does, and I believe he protects as well.
He does indeed.
I'm going to spend most of my time circumventing it by saying it without saying it.
Cool. Anyway, so it looks like you're grounded. You're going to be grounded here for at least 3 days.
Awesome.
Yeah.
This is exactly the place that an Eldari wants to be spending his time.
Staff Sergeant, what is there to do for 3 days at this sort of facility? We could comb over some of your data here, maybe assist in finding out more about these gene stealers.
Actually, and she looks at your badge of office. I'm kind of glad you're here. She's addressing you specifically. We're actually short-staffed, like nobody's business, and we could do with a hand in the discipline and training of our new relief ranks. You see, we've asked for 5, including a day sergeant, and we've received 5, but also a cyber mastiff. If you wouldn't mind, I'd like to offer you the position of temporary day sergeant. I mean, it does come with a number of perks only a sergeant of Enoch receives. You'd get access to the armory, better sleeping quarters, for example. I'm the night sergeant, you see, so I'm a little bit pushed for, I'm stretched thin as it is. I understand this might be kind of below your usual stature, but I'm stuck for help. I mean, after your friend has healed, you can move on, but for now, can you lend a girl a hand?
Yes, well, I think it's a fair deal there. Our girl does need some of this healing you offer here, and well, a good trade, I'd say. Some of my skills for some of your skills. You will take great care of her, of course.
Well, of course. I mean, we're only the security staff, so I can't answer for our medical staff. But so far, they have been absolutely amazing.
Well, and let me inquire as to what I'm getting myself into here. Incidents in the last 100 days. What do they number?
Well. I mean, this of course wouldn't go without trial. You'd have to prove your worth. Like, I'd ask you to train alongside the recruits, and in turn put them through your paces to earn their respect and trust. Naturally as well, you'd have to train the Cyber Mastiff to bring it up to command standards, and then oversee the organisation of the armoury and the logbooks. You'd have to learn the lay of the facility too, but that's not complicated for you, is it?
These all sound like relatively straightforward tasks, except for that Mastiff, of course. There's a reason they're untrained and require a steady hand and good discipline. I'd be willing to undergo some of that. I mean, training alongside these recruits, if they're as green as I think they might be, then you're right, it really would be beneath me. But I understand that I need to get used to the facility. It won't take long, of course.
Perfect. And well, when you get to the logbooks, you're asking about incidents and things. When you get to the logbooks, you'll see some entries. Come and see me when you do, because I don't really want them repeated. Because in this chapel, by the way, there are a few people milling about. And she sort of gives you a look and she says, "Between you and me, we'll discuss this in my quarters."
Yes, I see. And it is just us two that have access to these logbooks, I take it?
Well, it will be if you you agree to this. Yeah.
Yes. And yes, I agree to that. Yes, good terms. Yes, I do agree to this. I do. Yes. Count me in.
Excellent. Okay. So what we're going to do now is I've created this scenario specifically for you, Fabio, and this happens over the next 2 days. So what I'm going to do is everything that she's asked you to do, you're going to do the accompanying roles for them in Roll20. And depending on how well you roll, depends on the rewards you'll gain from this. So for instance, have you got Roll20 up? You have, haven't you?
Yeah, I've got Roll20 up.
Cool. Excellent.
So of course, it's like the generation game. We're angling for at least a better bed.
Yeah, well,
king size bed.
The thing is, because we're going from the first core rulebook to the second and things like that, there's a few discrepancies between people's characters, and I just want to bring them up to scratch. So rather than at the start of the game going, you get this, and that, put points in this, take points from that. We're gonna play it through Theatre of Mind like we are right now, naturally. And all three of you have your own stories, and they also will. Well, you'll see as they play out. So. So, for instance, to start with, if you could roll me a fellowship test to train the staff and earn their respect over the next 2 days. Just one fellowship test. Okay, the second test is to roll an intellect test.
Okay, so that's not an attribute. Do you mean an initiative? Oh, yes, it is 3. Yeah, I got 3 of those.
3 of them bad boys. This is to
It's mostly twos and threes in those.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. This is to train the Cyber Mastiff.
Right, okay.
Okay. Oh, and you got a RAF dice. Nice.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really handy, actually.
Is that really good? Okay.
Yeah, you needed that.
Okay.
Okay. To organise the armoury properly, roll me an awareness test, please.
Okay, an awareness test. Oh yeah, okay. So this is even better.
Oh.
Look at those Aquillas.
Oh wow.
Look at those. They're good, aren't they? They're Aquillas.
Yeah, they're excellent. So
that is my that's my total in my
5
skills.
and the skulls are 6, I believe. No, other way around. Skulls are 5, Aquila's 6.
Right.
And to organise the logbooks, finally, roll me an insight test, please.
Okay, so insight test.
It's under your skills.
Here we
And
are.
another one.
Look at that.
Wow.
Look at that. Is that good?
Okay.
Just a touch.
Okay, here are your results based on what you've rolled. So cleaning and organising the armoury has led you to find and successfully acquisition a body glove. This is a very rare piece of kit that fits your body at the click of a button and offers additional protection under your usual clothing. Add 2 to your armour rating.
Jesus.
Your las pistol has also been swapped out for a master-crafted counterpart. So you now have a master-crafted las pistol.
And what effect does that have?
I will link you the stats for it.
Fantastic.
When you need it, so.
When it's ready, yeah, when it's relevant.
Please feel free to name your new master-crafted las pistol something that strikes fear into your enemies, as is custom.
All right, give me a mo, and I will have something.
Absolutely, no rush on that one. Okay, so you rolled a wrath die on training the cyber mastiff. This has allowed it to follow you as your own personal companion. After a discussion with Sergeant Grosvenor, she has agreed that he is now, for all accounts and purposes, yours.
That is huge.
Yeah.
That is massive.
I didn't know.
And is it? Are we talking a dog-sized creature here?
Yes, cyber mastiff, so it's like a half robotic dog.
And what would I know what it's good for, useful for, that kind of thing?
It's basically a like a pet from any other role-playing system, essentially.
Yeah,
It will
but
listen
as
to
it's
commands and
Yeah.
do as you say and fight alongside you.
amazing.
Yep. His designated code name was Lancelot, but you may have changed this name during training.
Fantastic.
Okay. Okay, the next one. Your training and respect has earned you the title of Sergeant whilst you remain on Enoch. You now have a badge of office, which will act as a badge of command whilst on the planet. Any troop or officer of a lower rank will follow your order unquestioningly.
Wow.
However,
There's always a however.
as a side effect of being on the roster, the pull of duty may eventually lead you into frontline territory.
Sounds ominous.
It's what everyone wishes for in the 40k universe.
Yep.
To go to the front line.
And finally, whilst bookkeeping in the logbooks, you find a purity seal stuffed inside as a haphazard bookmark. This purity seal has since been fit to your jacket and offers you a +1 to aid against corruption tests.
Nice.
Fantastic. I've jotted all those down.
Cool. Also, increase the following skills on your character sheet.
Yep.
Investigation by 2.
Oh.
The leadership is increased by 2.
Yep.
Your intimidation is increased by 2.
Yep.
Your insight is increased by 1.
Yep.
And your scholar is increased by 2.
Brilliant.
Cool. Okay. So just to hi Icavon, welcome. Glad you're here. Good to have you. Basically, what I'm doing is I'm opening the story with a few little scenarios, theatre of mind, that's going to help everyone get their characters up to speed with the new rules and with the new stats as well, because a lot's changed since the first book to the second book and things. So
Sure.
you arrived on Enoch with Anastasia, who was paralysed, as you're aware of. She's being taken care of. You are grounded for 3 days because the Ordoxenos Inquisitors have found the Glorious Bright ship, so they've stopped all air traffic while they investigate what has happened. And whilst you're here, stranded in this what is a sort of a chapel slash hospital, as you guys got abandoned by what's his face. We're gonna do a little bit of theatre of mind for the next three days, so to speak, while you guys get up to speed. So actually, I'll do you next, Icavon, and then we'll do Amonel last.
That's fine.
Okay.
Cool. Okay, so let me just look for Icavon. Here we go. So you've met the sergeant, who is Sergeant Grosvenor. She's just here. She's like the staff sergeant of this facility. She's got a unit of five troops here and a cyber mastiff that now belongs to Fabio. He's taken over as sergeant of this facility for the time being, as they're short-staffed. She approaches you, and she has a bit of a quizzical look on her face, and she says, "It appears that our resident tech priest has taken an interest in you and requires an audience. It's pretty rare because he barely bothers with any of us, really. Anyway, if you speak to one of the guardsmen, they'll lead you to his study."
Yeah, sure thing. Find me the way.
Okay, yeah, sure, okay. So the trooper leads you through the security doors, and you're led into the sanitarium in silence. The only thing that you can really hear that happens to be a little bit strange is there are a few, as you pass a few of the doors, you can hear a number of the patients chanting numbers, and it's just a little bit odd. It's just something just out of reach of your earshot as you're walking past.
Okay.
But yeah, just random. Obviously, someone's gone crazy or something, and they're just chanting numbers. So you enter this room. You can actually see it on the map if I kind of point you to it. So let's open up this map. Have you got Roll20 open?
Yeah.
Cool. If you go to sort of, I'll have to probably ping so you can see. There's a room here. Can you see my black ping? There's like an operating table.
Oh, yeah.
Cool,
Yeah.
cool. So this is where Tech Priest Philonon is.
Okay.
And he's busy fiddling around with something. He says,
Icavon, my boy, how have you been? It's been some years since I tutored you back on the Red Planet.
Yeah, I remember him fondly well. All good, just keep it out of mischief.
so he sort of eyes you up and down.
I would have thought you would have maybe augmented yourself further by now, in pursuit of, further into the presence of the Omnissiah. And, left the burden of flesh behind, but alas, you remain mostly, human.
Funds and everything. Trying to scrape a living together out here is a bit hard to afford everything we need for that kind of thing.
So he looks about his workshop and he sighs.
Oh, maybe I can help you with a look at something I've been working on.
So he goes over to one of his boards. I'm just going to go over there. Goes over to his board. He comes back, and in his hands is a cord claw. If you make a DN2 tech test for me, so if you roll your tech skill for me, we'll see if you understand what that is. Excellent. Okay, so you pass that. So you know that this cord claw is quite a rare piece of tech, and it acts as a clawed mechanical hand you can use in a fight in combat. But it doesn't actually hamper your abilities in any way, so you can still shoot with it, you can still use it as a normal hand. But this thing is like, it just imagine like blades coming out of the fingertips whenever you want them to. Like,
Yeah.
pretty cool piece of tip. Okay.
That's cool.
So he Philonon notices that you know what this is, and his eyes once again, like they betray a smile.
Excellent. I knew you'd know what this was. One of my finest pupils you were. Anyway, this was sent for me. However, the augmetics currently in my hand are of a different fitting. To adjust it to work would take too many resources and too much time. I'd like you to have it. In fact, we can fit it this evening, should you have time for such things.
Yeah, sure. Let's get it on.
Okay, so he beckons you to sit down in the operating table. So this is your trial. The process is excruciating and takes a toll on the mind as you are wired up to Philemon's mainframe and also his mind. He will have to remove the hand from the wrist, and to use too much pain inhibitor would mean that your neural links won't function as fully as you would need them to. So in order to pass this test, I'd like you to roll a willpower test for me.
Okay, willpower. So just flat willpower,
Yes,
right?
please. Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Ooh. Okay, and that's to mentally survive the ordeal. Roll a toughness test to physically survive the ordeal.
Okay. Oh shit, hang on, wait. Okay. 4. So I'm just sat there, like, so it's the pain. Oh, cool.
Oh, wow. another rough die rolled.
Nice.
And roll a tech test to understand what is happening to you.
Okay. Oh no.
Okay. Okay, right, here we go. As you wake, a flood of information flashes through your mind. Details on technology and processes that were too complex for you to previously comprehend. Flight patterns and procedures, medical protocols, and operation initiatives are suddenly open to you. Can you please increase the following skills on your character sheet? So you gain tech. Tech goes up by 3.
Oh, cool. Okay. Hang on, 2 seconds.
Yep.
Yep. So tech goes up by 3.
Yep.
Cool.
Your Medicae skill goes up by 4.
Medicae. Okay.
Yep. Your pilot skill goes up by 4.
Nice. Okay.
And your survival skill goes up by 2.
Okay. That's cool.
This isn't the only thing to flow through you, however. As you wake up face down in intense amounts of pain, the cord claw that was fitted to you is now attached to your arm. As you begin to regain feeling, you also feel a searing pain across your back. You realise, almost with shock, that Philenon has fitted one of the most prestigious pieces of technology to your body. You move it almost as if it were a part of you since birth. This is a mechadendrite.
What the fuck does that look like? Or what is that?
Essentially, this is a...
I've had to grab all the mirrors just to be like, what?
Essentially, this is an extra mechanical limb. It's attached on your spine between your shoulder blades.
Okay.
You can also feel that there are 3 spare holes for 3 potential extra mechadendrites.
Sick.
Icavon, my boy, I hope this helps with whatever this system has to throw at you. I, for one, find no use for these being stuck in this place. I'm sorry that I can only fit one mechadendrite. You must salvage or earn the others for yourself. If you wish to gain more, seek the machine cult of Icavon.
Avacarus. I'll put it in the chat. Avacarus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
So seek these guys.
Alright.
So for all intents and purposes, moving forward, you have gained the Scitarius tier descriptor. The amount of augmetics and implants that you now adorn brings you one step closer to leaving the burdens of the flesh behind. You are immune to bleed and poison effects.
Okay.
You have the cord claw melee weapon.
Cord claw melee weapon. Okay.
Yep.
How do I? I'll figure this out. How do I add them all in?
Yeah, no problem. Like I said to the other guys, we'll when it comes to using it, I can just help you out with that. It's no problem.
Yeah.
And then after the session, I can send you all the info and everything like that, like in one big go, and you can add it to your sheet. Your mechadendrite is a Medicae model. It has a needle, a torch, a scalpel, and a stitching gun. You can use this to remove 1 shock per day to a party member, including yourself, on a DN3 Medicae test.
Okay, cool. That's awesome. All right.
Cool. Okay. This is all to bring you guys up to speed, and hopefully it sounds cool, and we're doing it a cool way rather than just listing shit. Like, I thought maybe this would be quite fun.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Now we're on to Amonel. Amonel.
Yes.
As you loiter about the chapel, a presence enters your mind. At first, you recoil physically in a panic, as you assume this presence is malicious, but a wave of something familiar washes over you, and you realise it's an Aladari presence.
Please, boy, come to my side. I haven't much time left, and I have a request for you, please. If you could do something for this humble old man, I would be eternally grateful. But know that the guards here do not take kindly to our race. Should you navigate these halls, do not tell them that you are here to visit me. You must not tell them of your lineage for fear of being barred entry. My presence here is at the grace of Philemon. He and I have ventured together.
You gain a flash of vision, a doorway further in the complex, and a room with an older Aladari lying inside. A flash of emerald also floods your mind. A beautiful young Aladari woman adorned in green and white opals, with a stern look about her flashes in your mind as well, before the presence fades.
Do I get a sense of direction? Having never been here before.
Sure. Essentially, he's like guided you psychically down the corridors to where his room is. I'm assuming you'd like to find this man then, if you're asking where he is.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, like to investigate.
Okay. Describe to me we're obviously clear of the minding this. So describe to me the precautions you'd like to take in heading down these corridors.
So I'm going to use my power.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Prescience, to sort of try and sort of gain some sort of wisdom as to, because I literally, being Eldari, I'm not really going to want to just wander around an Imperial fortress effectively without some form of knowledge. So I'm just double checking the rule on it. So many rules.
What is the power? It's
divination.
Divination.
Target itself, duration 1 scene. It can be active for 30 minutes. It has a difficulty of 7. Okay. Sorry, not 9. Don't know why I said 9.
That's fine, because this is Fear of the Mind and it's not combat vital. I'll allow that to be this auto pass. What it means is you'll be aware of where the guards are, so I will add that to the rolls that I'm about to get you to make. So I'll keep that in mind. Okay. So if you would like to roll a stealth check for me, this is to determine how many times you are noticed by the guard patrols.
The only other thing I'm going to make sure is, obviously, I'm carrying a Ranger long rifle, which is clearly not an Imperial weapon. The Shuriken pistol, even my armor is pretty much not really of Imperial nature. So just sort of making sure that the weapon itself, the Ranger long rifle, I would have done this before, is just sort of wrapped up, so sort of in traditional sort of carrying fashion. I'm not expecting to shoot anything in the next 5 minutes in this base.
Cool. Exactly
the pistol is stowed
from you. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, pistol is stowed sort of accessible, but would be hidden. And then sort of obviously I'm wearing a chameleon cloak, but it is still fairly bland, and there's no iconography on it that would indicate I am of any particular heritage. But yeah, sort of walk as though I belong as much as I can, sort of emulating those around me.
Mannerisms of a human and things.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
As much as a 7-foot tall space elf can.
Yep. Roll me a stealth check, please. This is to determine how many times you are noticed by the guard patrols. They're currently being trained by Fabio, so you better do well. Okay. As you wander down the corridor, you're stopped by a new recruit. You there. State your business.
My business in general, or my business here?
Well, here, of course. In general, blimey.
I look him up and down for sort of any form of insignia, because I can't imagine I have particularly great knowledge of intricacies of the sort of imperial ranks. So is there anything sort of
He is
sort of classic sort of shoulder sort of stuff, or has he just got literally no decoration on him?
no. His helmet's slightly skewed. He's definitely going to get reprimanded for it by Fabio at some point. He's like he's blue. He's a new recruit for all intents and purposes.
Okay.
He is like he probably doesn't even know what he's doing.
No. So you question me, and you failed to correctly inspect your uniform before leaving your accommodations. That's a shame. Should I report you for failing?
No, don't report me to Sergeant Fabio, please. No.
Sergeant
God.
Fabio, yes. I heard he's risen recently.
No, please.
I know him well. Well, I would probably be on your way, but before you do, I'd straighten up that helmet, straighten that jacket,
Yeah,
and
of course.
don't let me see you again.
Oh, thanks for the heads up. God, if I got in trouble with him again, my head will roll. Excellent. Okay, can you also roll a deception test alongside that answer as well,
Ooh,
just in
dear.
case you mega fail?
Likelihood is high.
Oh, okay. I'll keep that in mind.
I do. I think it's sort of that. In terms of obviously the failed dice there on the wrath one is that.
I've got everything's accounted for. Everything's accounted for.
No, I was just going to sort of like just the tone and the language and sort of the intonation on the voice isn't quite in keeping with what he would probably expect.
Right, because obviously you're an Aladari, you're talking in a tone that he doesn't necessarily. Okay, cool. I like that. That's great. Roll.
Just as a sort of a weird niggle in his head as he walks away.
Okay, as you make your way to the main areas of the hospital, for the viewers, I'm just going to move the camera so they can see. As you make your way to the main areas of the hospital, there are a number of servo skulls here. They're milling about and collecting data. Please roll me a cunning test to trick the servo skulls into thinking that you're meant to be.
Oh, good God. If I pass this, that'll be a miracle. Nope.
Okay. Right.
I literally have one dice for that, so the odds were not in my favour.
So one of them does stop and scans you, but then carries on. This will have been logged in the logbook, and Fabio will be aware that you have walked in, like someone has walked into the corridors. He might bring that up later, it's up to him to decide. But that's been logged in the logbooks. Okay.
I'll keep going. I won't.
I'd like you
Shoot
to make
this
an athletics test to determine how quietly you walk and how deftly you open doors.
Slightly higher chance with this one. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And finally, roll me an awareness test to see how well you recall the vision granted to you to navigate the halls correctly.
Level 4.
Perfect, okay. So as you enter the room seen in your vision, an elderly Aladari lies on his deathbed. Breathing slowly and heavily, he smiles. Come closer, boy. Pray to the gods. I never thought it'd happen upon another of us of our kind in here. I've been truly blessed in my final hours.
I sort of just want to look around the rest of the room, sort of get
It's just
sort of an idea of... Oh, yeah, no, just in terms of...
Yeah. Okay.
Like
Sure.
generally his condition, in terms of the fact that he is literally obviously in this hospital ward, and it's obviously probably slightly out of keeping with their general.
There is a scroll printout on the end of his bed if you want to read that.
Yeah, just have a look.
Yep. Roll me an investigation test, please. Cool.
Being
And a
one.
Medicaid test as well, please.
Cool. 4 again.
Okay, so he's dying of some sickness that you're not familiar with, but for all intents and purposes, his medical records are looking really dire.
Time is short. That's fine.
Yeah,
I sort of put them down, and based on this, I won't waste any more time.
Yeah. My name is Equeston. I am, was a close aide to the Emerald Princess. I wish for you to return this Wraithbone amulet to her. And he hands it over to you. He just places it in your hand. He's clearly frail and he's struggling to lift this thing. It's
I sort of clasp one hand in the other and sort of take it and sort of nod assuringly that I will attempt to do this quest. Is the Emerald Princess something that Amonel would be aware of in terms of by name?
Possibly. We'll make that check in a sec.
Fine.
So he's clutched this so tightly that it's imprinted on on his palm. Like the shape of it is actually imprinted on his palm. It obviously is something dear to him. Inside this amulet are my projected last wishes and rites, so that I may ask forgiveness after all these years for leaving her side to venture. Please do this for me. It is my dying wish, and I'm certain it will grant you her favour in return. Please grant an old man this humble wish, so that I may pass in peace. And before you can answer, he smiles warmly, and the light in his eyes slowly dies out. His hand reaches out one final time.
Towards me, or just towards
you.
And I sort of hold it as the life, I suppose, continues to fade from his eyes.
As you do this, you're struck with psychic energy. His thoughts, his emotions, and his experiences of combat on far distant planets, of long drawn-out lectures and researches into the psychic arts. Some of them seem very foreign to you. Some seem to feel like pieces of arcane puzzles that you've been trying to work out for most of your adult life. The overwhelming flood of information flies so quickly through you that it's almost like grabbing water in a waterfall. You can't quite hold on to most of it for long enough for it to stick. A single tear betrays you as you sense the overwhelming love and duty to Frianweir Greensteel, the Emerald Princess.
Yep. So, in terms of that acknowledgement of knowledge, do I gain sort of an understanding of who she is as a character?
Yes. She is the leader of the Emerald Corsairs. The Green Steel Corsairs. She's the Emerald Princess of the Green Steel Corsairs.
That's fine. Yeah, this is what I was checking. He knew that, as opposed to just me knowing that.
Sure. Yeah. Amonel, you have received a Wraithbone amulet studded with a single beautiful emerald. This is an heirloom to the Green Steel legacy, a royal family leading a very prestigious group of Aladari called the Green Steel Corsairs. Upon further inspection, this amulet grants you the use of the Conceal Psychic Power, which you can find on page 283. Yep, it grants you the use of the Conceal Psychic Power for free, once per day. It does not grant you the option of the reveal counterpart of the spell, however.
No, that's fine.
Cool.
That's very cool.
Very cool indeed. Increase the following skills on your character sheet.
Yep.
Increase Cunning by 2.
I might actually be able to pass something. Yep.
Deception by 2.
Yep.
Persuasion by 2.
Yep.
Awareness by 1.
Yep.
And Athletics by 1.
Nice.
By communing with a Queston, you feel like you are one step closer to becoming that of a Warlock, but not quite.
Nice.
Maybe the Warlocks of the Green Steel Corsairs can help you on your path.
Very cool.
Cool, okay.
Yeah, sort of, well then just, classic sort of, once I've sort of regained, I imagine based on that, the just sort of sweat on the brow sort of will gather my composure, having the fact that I've now got to walk back through past everything that I did. But, the classic sort of eyes closed, and then sort of Is he wearing a soul stone of any kind himself?
If he was, it has been removed.
Okay. So I'd sort of just say a prayer in terms of, finding some way to guard his soul from the the chaos gods in the warp and Slanesh.
For all you know, this Wraithbone amulet could be his soul stone. For all you
That's
know,
fine.
because he said that his final wishes and regrets are imprinted into the stone. So
no, that's fine.
Cool.
Yeah, but we'd just sort of a humble prayer to the dead gods of the Eldar.
Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that. That was
cool.
The theatre of the mind, get you up to speed with your characters, remember how to roll for tests, and just a bit of fun, bit of flavour. You've all kind of got little tidbits to something that you could maybe work towards.
Yeah,
cool.
That's cool. Could you just remind me what that arm attachment thing is? I'm editing my character as I'm going, just trying to update it all, just
Sure. So it's a mechadendrite.
And is it a talent or is it
It's an augmetic. It's like an augmetic. So you've basically got a robotic arm like Doc Ock from Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It does. To use it, because this particular one is from the sanitarium, it's a medical one. So in order to use it, you do a medical test. So on a medical test of a difficulty level of 3, if you pass that, you can regain shock to someone once per day. Just like a little heal. It also has a torch on it, which might prove useful for something. There's a scalpel on it as well, although it's not suitable for fighting with. And I think I said it's got. Let's have a look.
Was it called a
mechadendrite? I'll post the word. It's quite a weird word. So
that's it. Mechadendrite servo arm or Medicae?
It's a Medicae version. It's quite unique to you. I kind of just made it up because I wanted it to be really specific.
Oh, okay. Well, I've got it here. I was just looking for augmentation very rare, and I've found the one that's listed. But yeah.
Cool. Okay.
That's sick. Awesome. Cool.
I'm just going to turn my mic up. Apparently, I'm a little bit quiet, so my wife, luckily, is watching in the background, and yeah. Cool. Yeah, Mechadendrite is a Medicae model. A needle, torch, scalpel, and stitching gun are fitted to it. Cool. Uses to remove 1 shock per day to a party member, including yourself, on a DN3 Medicae test.
All right.